All right, much bigger turnout than I expected. Welcome everybody. I want to thank you for taking the time out of your day to be here. So let's get started. In front of me, I have two seemingly identical laptop computers. Let's say you were in the market for one and I were selling these. I priced them at $632. How do you decide which one to buy? Of course, it's purely hypothetical question. You don't even know the specifications of these computers, so you couldn't make an informed decision. A little bit about me, I've spent years researching computers in my spare time. I do it as a hobby. I have built some computers in the past, my own desktops. So I believe I'm knowledgeable enough to go ahead and give you some information to help you make an informed decision on your next computer. Chances are that you or someone in your family owns a computer. A survey done by Camille Ryan and Jamie M. Lewis of the U.S. Census Bureau showed that 78.2% of people, as recently as 2015, owned a computer. 78.2%. Another survey published by Mr. Thomas Alsop of Statista showed that the average selling price of a computer in 2019 was $632. Okay. Today, I'm here to educate you on the most important components of a computer, as it is important for consumers to make an educated decision when they make a purchase. Okay. First, you're going to learn what a CPU is, what it does, and what kind to look out for when shopping. Next, you're going to learn a little bit about RAM and why it is important. And lastly, I'm going to explain storage and why you should look for something that has SSD storage instead of HDD storage. CPU is an acronym for Central Processing Unit. It can also be known simply as a processor. Pamela Fox from the Khan Academy explains that the CPU is the brain of the computer. Contains all the circuitry needed to process input, store data, and output results. It is important to shop for a computer with a processor that meets your needs. For those who will need a computer simply for something like light web browsing, emails, nothing too crazy, you should be looking for a computer that has an Intel Core i3 or an AMD Ryzen 3 processor. That should be sufficient. Consumers who plan on using the computer for stuff such as schoolwork, streaming videos, more intensive web browsing, you should be looking for something with an Intel Core i5 or an Intel Core i7. On the other side, AMD makes processors such as the AMD Ryzen 5 or the AMD Ryzen 7 for tasks like that. The most demanding workloads such as rendering, editing, video editing, processing, producing, stuff like that require the processing power of something like an Intel Core i9 or an AMD Ryzen 9. Now that you learned a little bit about RAM, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the importance about, now that you have learned a little bit about CPUs, I'm going to go ahead and tell you the importance about RAM. RAM is an acronym for Random Access Memory. It is necessary for your computer to run smoothly. It works hand in hand with your CPU to process data and run computer programs. The amount of RAM your computer utilizes will have a big impact on its performance and speed. Currently, the minimum amount of RAM recommended for most of today's computer programs is 4 gigabytes. Most users will find that 8 gigabytes will get the job done as far as getting most of their daily tasks done. 16 gigabytes and even 32 gigabytes of RAM will be necessary for users that are in that more demanding workload, such as editing videos, producing music, stuff like that. RAM is important, however, it's not to be mistaken for the more commonly type known of memories known as storage. Storage will determine how many files you can save on your computer. Storage most commonly comes in two forms. You have HDD storage, which stands for hard disk drive, and you have SSD storage, which stands for solid state drive. The growing standard in the computer industry is SSD storage. Sandro Villinger from Avast Academy explains why it is the better choice. A solid state drive SSD is a new generation of storage device used in computers. SSDs replace traditional mechanical hard disks by using flash-based memory, which is significantly faster. So in an HDD drive, a hard disk drive, they're mechanical. So they have like moving parts. They're a little bit, of the past, a little bit older. So they're going to be much slower than an SSD drive, which is the newer component. Storage is most commonly offered in capacities of 256 gigabytes, 512 gigabytes, or 1 terabyte, so you should shop for something that fits your needs. Storage can be expanded with the purchase of an external storage device like a USB drive. That way, if you start to run out of space on your computer, you don't have to worry. You can go and look for something like that, and you can store your files on there. To recap, today I informed you on some of the more important components of your computer and what you should be looking out for when shopping for one. We now know what a CPU is, what it does, and which ones to look out for, what RAM is and why it's important, and what storage is and which type of storage you should be looking out for when shopping. Your CPU, RAM, and storage above all will have the greatest impact on your computer's performance and speed. There is a plethora of information online available to those who wish to learn more. I do recommend to research the product that you're interested in buying before you go ahead and make your final decision. Again, I want to thank you for your time.